Fun currency farming remains a goal I strive for, and as it stands, I may have lied about tile sets because I said I was going to stop, but yeah, we're still going. This is version 5 of my tile set strat. We have made some innovation, although I do believe this is pretty much the cap without changing it entirely. And we do have some future plans for that, which might even be crazier than what you're going to be looking at. Just a small warning, if you are sensitive to some flickering, then, well, squint your eyes or keep them closed, because delirium gets a little funky with this strat, as you can see. If you just hear for what you need, the POB, not the POB, the planner and the map crafts, by all means, check out the description box below, and while you're down there, hit that like button. But yes, version 5, welcome back, my currency crashers. The name is Wolf, and we have made some innovations. If you have followed version 4, like many of you have, you might notice that the strategy is very much the same. We're still looking for those exiles, we're still using those treasure scarabs, and we're trying to hopefully RNG into exiles, giant exiles, specifically having spawned in these rituals, and then using those rituals to resummon them. There are some common misconceptions about these rituals, though. Yes, you can technically drag a boss in, the map boss, which is not supposed to be the way it works, but it does. Weirdly enough, we have seen the clip from MP, so that is a bug, I imagine. So I wouldn't recommend pulling in the map boss into a ritual if it has not yet spawned in a ritual in and of itself, because I do believe that is bug abuse. Do not do that. Now, trying to drag other characters into the ritual, that doesn't really work. You really have to have that exile, specifically the rogue exile, having spawned into the ritual, because then they will drop loot again. Other units will not re-drop their loot. I will not go into depth as to why this works. You can check out currency version 4 for that, but that's pretty much the philosophy. We're trying to get unique monsters with tile sets. We are trying to resummon rogue giants into the rituals, which is why we want to use maps like City Square or Glacier, because it's more likely to happen there, and then we just hope for the best. However, we have added some additional tile sets. We are using delirium. At the beginning of the league, I was convinced it was bugged because some of the giants weren't splitting. I've been asking around, and I've been doing some testing, but it seems to work now, which is why I originally moved away from it, and I think in version 3 or 2 I even pointed out that it was bugged. But it seems to be working right now, so I don't know if it was fixed or if I did something wrong in the past. Either way, it is working right now. So we are getting a little bit of tile set flavor from the delirium as well. We're also, on top of that, juicing with a little bit of Beyond, which is nice to get those tile sets ramped up. But also the boss itself that spawns from Beyond can give you more tile sets. And that's kind of the biggest changes to it. We're not caring too much about magic find. We're not caring too much about 8 mods. If you can run them, if you have it, by all means use it. But tile sets themselves are these predetermined grouping of drops that are unaffected by player rarity and such, right? So you don't have to worry about that. You could technically run this on a white map, although your gold would be significantly less and your natural map drops will be significantly worse. If you do juice that, go with an 8 mod with some rarity if you can. I wouldn't recommend pushing it too much for the opportunity cost, but if you can, it's always nice to get more gold and the occasional natural drop. Because we do get a lot of drops with this, of all kinds of flavors, synth items. We have the fractures, we have natural divines and exalts if you are unlucky. We also have 2120 gems occasionally dropping, and all kinds of other stuff that really starts to add up depending on how the wind blows. The investment is very low because it doesn't require tier 17 maps. And in fact, if you do find your sanctuary map, for example, on tier 17, you can just sell it. They sell for like a divine in bulk. Easy money. So this is kind of what we have right now. Like I said, I might update the tree in the future as well if I find slight improvements, maybe involving scarabs, but otherwise the next step of currency farming will be an entirely different strat that will be based around tile sets, but is going to require a different character. Yes, we are cooking, we are brewing, and hopefully I have something for you into the future of that. But if you like tile set 4, this is probably the true final version, now that I know the bug has been fixed, or truly was not ever there, and I was just bricked in the mind. But either way, thank you all so much for hanging out so far. Let's get into the depth of it all so we can get you going yourself. And this is the map device. Now, mind you, it hasn't changed since version 4, but allow me to go through it one more time. We have Anarchy as the craft for more exiles. We have additional exiles, because that's what we are trying to farm, these rogue exiles. But then we're hoping that they become giants. We have 2 scarabs of gigantification to get a total of 60% for that. And then all unique monsters, including those giants, will get additional tile set rewards through the scarab of treasure, which we are using not 1 but 2 of. That's kind of the best way to do it. We have random numbers on stream, and 2 as in 2 treasure, 2 gigantification, 1 anarchy seems to be the best way to get the most bang for your buck, although this may change based on the pricing. But honestly, this is what I've also gotten the best results with. So if you want to have the best chance, 2 treasure, 2 gigantification, 1 anarchy scarab, 1 anarchy craft, eldritch altar of choice. And make sure that when you are using your maps, which I would recommend to be City Square or Glacier, that you don't run mods that will brick you, because I just realized we have a bricked mod at the bottom there. I am a block build, and that's going to take away my ability to block. So, yeah, let's not do that, okay? Yes. So, yeah, be careful with your map mods and make sure you get all your scarabs, and you should be good to go. The moment of truth. Here's the Atlas tree. If you want to pause the video and copy it, by all means, you can do so right now. However, if I make minor changes, I will post them in the description box, so check back semi-regularly. Otherwise, yes, we have a lot to go through because a lot has changed, including why I am not speccing Elva or Blight. So, buckle up. It is a exile-focused strat, so we do want to pick up the rogue trader since we are using tile sets, and that's a 50% chance for an extra tile set, so we definitely want that. We, of course, want Royal Guard because that's a potential greater chance for more exiles, as well as some additional currency. That's always nice. And then, of course, the Exiled Will, just for value. And on top of that, Ruckus for 20 additional rogue exile. A proc like this can actually be absolutely mental. So definitely make sure you pick that up. On top of that, it is a ritual-focused strategy, so we want to make sure we focus on having a forced ritual. So we pick up the Sacred Lands. We also pick up the minor notes. A little bit of quality of life goes a long way with these 2 minor notes. As you can see, 20% increased number of spawned monsters at once and faster spawn. This is a lot of quality life. If you are okay with cutting these, that's fine. You can put them elsewhere. I just think this speeds up the entire process considerably, which is just very, very nice. We also pick up the Profitable Prayers for additional rerolling, as well as Flexible Dogma. Now, we don't have a tremendous amount of super juice. Luckily enough, we have a way to kind of compensate for that because we have answered appeals. Not only do we have reduced tribute and reappearance of deferred items sooner, but as you can see, that last line, unique monsters slain at ritual altars in your maps grant more tribute, right? 100%. And rogue exiles and all the bosses and all that stuff is all unique. Very good value right there. On top of that, we do want to make sure that the rituals that we are rolling are of value as well. So we pick up the special chance, and then Occult Devotion allows us to have the ritual altars ×4, which is mandatory. You could cut ritual tribute quantity if you are short on points or you're just feeling something else. By all means, you can do so. But other than that, it is very valuable. You could cut all this extra deferring and rerolling stuff and go into Blight and Alpha, which is what I've been testing, because a lot of Alpha stuff is very much en route. However, I don't like making pyramids, and on top of that, I find that the incursions as well as the foul flesh merchants combined with tile sets don't really pay off. They really, really do not. They're nice to like put a pause to delirium. That is very nice, but since we have an unending delirium anyway, I found it to be quite inefficient. But if you want to maximize the value of delirium, yeah, you probably want to go into the incursions. I personally dislike it. The same reason I dislike Blight, I found even with Blight spawn right here, ultimately at this point in the league, the stuff that drops from the tile sets that Blight spawn are just not worth it. You either have to go big on Blight or you're better off going home. It slows down the map considerably, and the loot is always just disappointing with the rare jackpot item, and I honestly could have used those points better, and I have used them better. Because we are also using Beyond. But before we do Beyond right here, we must check out Delirium. We have that which you seek, which helps us force Delirium onto the map, together with these travel notes right here for Delirium chance. We have picked up Compulsive Hoarder just to have a small chance for additional rewards. You could cut these as well. It doesn't happen very often. But you definitely want to pick up Unending Nightmare, because this allows you to have an endless Delirium. It does sacrifice the chance for dropping orbs, which is good value. So if you want to play on a different map, or you have a very fast build, like a very zoomy Headhunter build, then maybe Unending Nightmare will be fine, because rituals do pause Delirium, so you have a lot of chance to get max value for that, but I don't have that, so I have taken the Unending Nightmare. We've also taken Descent into Madness, just because Delirium in your maps increasing is just nice for those tile sets, if I understand it correctly, and it does seem to work that way. And on top of that, to help juice those Delirium, other than the rituals and the natural monsters on the map, we have taken Beyond. As you can see, we are picking up 100% Beyond, including Scent of Blood. You could spec into Endless Tide, which allows you to never have to worry about Beyond running out, but then you have to compensate the merging radius a little bit, which you can do right here in this wheel. A little bit of merging radius, which is very nice. However, I find that the Delirium and the Beyond work very well, even without Endless Tide, and the boss always spawns in the second half of the map for me, so it seemingly is fine most of the time. Just make sure you have 100% Beyond chance, and then you're good to go. The Fiendish Opulence does not seem to pay off very well, in my opinion, so I have skipped that. Other than that, if you need more power, you can also spec Demonic Power here, which is kind of lovely and kind of nice as well if you still have a character that needs a little bit more oomph. And that is pretty much it. I've explained why we have not taken Elva. I find that the tile sets are not worth it in terms of the rewards. We have not gone for Blight, because the tile set rewards on Blight are just absolutely abysmal. We have spec'd deeper into Ritual for those re-rolling, especially with the Nameless King Invitation. That's very, very valuable, as well as all those other potential hits you can do in the Ritual in and of itself. And not to forget, we also actually went with Imagined Pursuit. And since we are doing tile set farming and not magic find farming, you can actually wait with killing the boss to the very end. So you could also go for a Glacier map, which is why I would recommend Glacier on top of City Square, because you're going to get the +1 completion bonus, and since we don't care too much about the altars and their quality because we're not magic finding, it ends up being totally fine if you skip that or wait with it longer. And that's kind of the strat right here. So hopefully that made a lot of sense. It is very similar to version 4 if you have been following along. It's just that we have added Delirium and Beyond because it seemingly works now. And it does end up being quite lucrative if you are able to just hit, because there's a lot of tile set that could give you a lot of currency, as we have seen in the past. So thank you all so much for hanging out. Make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and hopefully my future project will be able to push the concept of tile sets to a whole nother level. But we have to make a new character for that. So fingers crossed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. I am out.